Election 2024 is over. America has voted, and both sexism and racism have won the day. On Liberal Dan Radio, we will hold everyone accountable, from the media that failed to report the threat that Trump poses to this nation, to the people who supported him. We will pick up the mantle to educate the people about his actions, from being dictator on day one, pardoning January 6th domestic terrorists, implementing Project 2025, and any other draconian measures he tries to pass. And now, the resistance begins. Welcome back to Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. This is your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you from New Orleans, Louisiana. We'll open up the phone lines in a little bit. When we do, the phone number will be 562-LIB-DAN1. It's 562-LIB-DAN1. But they're not open yet. We're going to talk about some other issues before we get there. Of course, you could leave your comments, questions, concerns, etc. over on the show threads on liberaldanradio.com, which is the link to the YouTube channel, and twitch.tv/liberaldanradio, which is obviously the Twitch channel. So you can go both. You could do both there if you wish, if you can't wait to let your feelings be told. Anyway, Jeff says hello from north of Uranus. Good. Who lives south of Uranus? Would you call south of Uranus the taint? I might have made that joke already before, but it's 69 day, so we should make at least some dirty jokes on the show, right? Because 69, nice. John Deff in the chat. We got Steve from across the pond.
It's not Scottish, it's crap.
We got the Mod Squad, Aaron and Jolien. We got Mad Max, Slava Ukraini, absolutely. Who else are we missing as of? I got Josh, Suzanne. I think I've said hello to everybody who at least has said hello in the chat so far. So hello to y'all. I'll try and catch up with the rest of y'all as we go on with tonight's show. I did not see the new. Let's see. Yeah, there is $70. Guys, I do see the email or whatever. I did not necessarily see it on the GoFundMe yet, but we'll worry about that later. I'll worry about figuring out that stuff later. We are still trying to raise funds for Susie, but here's the deal. I cannot cover everybody's, whatever. So if you want to contribute to Susie and you can't do it via Venmo, friends and family, or PayPal, email me. And PayPal, my personal one. Email me so if you want to help Susie out. I'm more than happy to cover the costs that are being incurred with the GoFund, with other ways that other people have contributed. I can't do that for everybody. I will go broke trying to cover the fees to make sure that everybody gets the most bang for the buck. If you don't have Venmo, if you don't have PayPal, I'd rather you send me a check than do it via a super chat, because with the super chat you're not getting the most bang for your buck. The money that comes in for that is going to YouTube takes its cut, and then I get taxed on it because it's income. So with all that being said, I appreciate that everybody wants to help. I'm not complaining about the other two who already did with GoFundMe, with the super chats, whatever. But if we're going to try and get funds, either somebody else has to create a GoFundMe for this, I'm more than happy to plug it on the show or whatever, or do it other ways. I've already gotten $45 to Susie right now. As soon as the other one clears from Big Hook, I guess he put it to my old GoFundMe. I could do it that way, but again, I will probably have to take some of it off to deal with the fact that GoFundMe's taking its share. Anyway, but yeah, it's a damn shame, though, that we have to do all this stuff to help ourselves while we have, billionaires fighting each other in this administration or from this administration or what have you, ruining the lives of people who, need the help that they need. And we're going to go into several examples of that today. Anyway, so yeah, we got Big Hook says hi turtle toes because of that.
I
I have
like
to
turtles.
put in I like turtles. Yes, I like turtles too. What else? Floyd, hello Floyd, good to see you. Got my dogs are literally barking outside. Not proverbially my feet hurt, but my dogs are barking. Although with me needing the upcoming knee surgeries that I'm going to be having, my legs may very well be in pain for a little bit. Although hopefully after some time it'll stop being in pain because we'll fix the freaking knee problem that I'm having, or knee problems that I'm having. So, let's see. Trump is trying to distract while stealing from this country and trying to pass shit off for the rich to fill his pockets before he's done. Oh, of course, that's exactly what he's trying to do. When people wanted to say back in his last term that Donald Trump is going to turn to Washington upside down, it's because he wants to shake it out like the couch and get all the loose change from it. That's why he's doing that. Again, one of the many reasons I posted many videos. Like I played catch up yesterday and posted at least 4 shows worth of videos. Some of it went up as instant premieres. Some of it you just posted regularly. Some of it posted delayed it to start for today. So we've posted a lot of clips from the past shows. So if there are parts of the last few shows that I've done that you liked, you want to share, your opportunity to share the individual portions of those shows with the clips that I've created and uploaded up to my YouTube channel, liberaldanradio.com is right there. Help the algorithm, of course, because Al Gore needs more rhythm. I was hoping to have an announcement today with that specifically, but if we don't get it by the end of the show, we will get it probably Wednesday, the announcement having to do with that and potentially other things that we're trying to do. Let me just check to see if I have any messages pertaining to that on my phone. No, we don't have any of that. So we will have to wait till at least one more day, one more show day at least, to be able to get the thing that I've been anxiously waiting to announce. Looking forward to several of these things being posted up there. We'll see. We're available over on Twitch. Good to see you over there. Thank you for joining. Let's just see if I can maybe get a little preview of, let's see, of this. Let's see if I can get that. Come on, stop being stupid. I don't know if that's going to come up or not. I don't know if they've fully launched their website yet. No, that's not there. I don't know what the flippity flip. Let's see. I don't know. It's not showing up like I wanted it to, but who knows? Anyway, we'll worry about that later, I suppose. There it is. It's .net. That's not .com. That's probably with the problem. That's what the problem. There we go. Let's see if we have the full-on site, if the links are there. And I know they were uploading a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't see where it is at the moment on there. So we'll wait and see what comes up when the information comes. Anyway, a little rambling, but it is what it is. Wait, sorry, that's Trump's line.
It is what it is.
Thank you. I'm very excited about this. Trying to get this. Trying to anxiously wait for this stuff to happen. For this to become final. Get these things posted. Another way to support the show, etc. Good to see you, Nick. Thank you for joining the show. As well. Appreciate everybody. Hey, Steven, good to see you too. I'm trying to see if I missed anybody else. I don't think so. Is Trucker John in the chat? Trucker John's in the chat. Good to see you, Trucker John. I did miss one. Slid right by me. Squirrely devil you are. Trucker John. Just didn't even catch you. So yeah, what are we going to talk about today? We do have... I didn't even bring that up properly. I forgot to even make this. We will have one of these, but that's the wrong image. So let's go ahead and change that image before we actually play it and come back here. Yeah, I forgot to do that before starting the show, unfortunately. Let's see, Big Hook. Can I borrow your wrench? I have a few loose nuts that I need tightening. Oh my. Wait, that should probably go with here.
Oh my.
One could take that the wrong way, and if it's 69 day, one should take it the wrong way, right? So, yeah, we've just got a lot of, again, this is still, things happening from Elon Musk and Donald Trump having their little spat and breaking up in the middle of Pride Month. It's such a shame that you would have, two, people who just seem to love each other wholeheartedly, just breaking up and it's just in the middle of Pride. It's a sad day. Though it's not. I'm sitting here eating my popcorn, watching all of this stuff go down, watching Elon Musk find out. I think that's the best part of this whole thing. Watching Elon Musk finding out exactly why he made such a bad move supporting this idiot for president, Donald Trump. And he absolutely is a freaking idiot. Period. End of story. No two ways about it. Of course, he's still attacking wokeness on his Twitter feed or whatever, so he's not actually trying to get everything. Here's one of the things that a lot of conservatives that I've heard say, like, oh, the liberals like Elon Musk again. No, we don't like Elon Musk again. We just love to see two people that we hate going after each other, because the more they go after each other, the fewer amount of times they're going to have to go after us. Now, granted, still, Donald Trump will find ways to, go after us and harm us and hurt us or whatever, but the fact that these people are just this terrible, it just, couldn't happen to two shittier people. That's what I'm saying. Let's see, if these folks weren't so chaotic, just think of the good they could do in the world. Absolutely. I mean, but, many billionaires don't give a crap about good in the world because they think that they're going to be like the Jetsons and live up in the clouds whilst everybody else, goes back to the Stone Age. So I probably deserve that after everything, but yeah, I mean, that's fine. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to, use the show to help other people. I mean, we need to do that, especially in these chaotic times. In these terrible times, and that we're in the absolutely wrong timeline, the worst timeline that we're in. So we need to help each other. So I'm going to always jump and try and do what I can to help people. Freaking bug flying around me. And, but, just want to make sure that anybody else that wants to help Susie, either do it via Venmo and say, I'm donating for Susie, or email me at liberaldanradio to try and figure it out, because, again, I can't eat the cost for everybody. Let's just put it like that. Hey, Progressively Independent, good to see you. Thank you for joining as well. So, speaking of, stuff on the show and bits, and maybe a little bit of, off-color humor included in this one, we do have a Hypocrite of the Week. As you know, we've been dealing with some protests going on over the course of, in Los Angeles, dealing with ICE and how ICE is behaving itself and how ICE, these massive raids. But a long time ago, last year, Kristi Noem said that, it would be terrible for Biden to federalize the National Guard. That's just not something that the president should do. President should not federalize the National Guard. Well, how convenient that now she seems to have changed her tune. And that is what comes along with this week's Hypocrite of the Week. This week's Hypocrite of the Week is Kristi Noem. Just last year, dog killer Noem said that it would be unprecedented for Joe Biden to federalize the Texas National Guard. Now, Noem is full-throatedly supporting Trump doing just that.
Grocery prices are down.
In this criminal administration in the first place, by being full-throated. Though, according to Stormy, I'd be surprised if he hit the uvula. To see who next week's Hypocrite of the Week will be, tune in live Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central here on liberaldanradio.com or twitch.tv/liberaldanradio for more talk from the left. That's right. And we will upload that later. I hit the wrong thing, and we heard Donald Trump talking, whatever. You didn't miss anything important, but I will upload that later. Or if you're Liberal Dan patron, you got to see it a little bit before the show because I uploaded it to the Patreon. Patreon.com/LiberalDan, Patreon.liberaldan.com. Either way, get to there. You can support the show and get early access sometimes when I do bits. Hear old shows where I was on Dan and Dave on the air, Talk from the Left, that's right. And, some of my bits and my clips that I've done up there, and those will get uploaded over the course of the year as we're going. Nick, Gnome has some weird plastic surgery. I mean, I guess she feels it makes her look better. What could make her look worse at this point? I don't know. Being caught in the act of being full-throated with Donald Trump. Anyway. But yeah, this is, people are and that's not just the only level of hypocrisy. I mean, there's other hypocrisy that comes with this too, because Kristi Noem and the Trump administration, are sitting here, you can't assault law enforcement, you can't assault do not dare assault law enforcement. Unless they're the Capitol Police, right? Because the Capitol Police, they don't give a crap about them when those blue lives didn't matter, because those blue lives were stopping white people from charging in and trying to steal an election. Meanwhile, when, ICE operates now and they're going after, person who appear to be Latino or Latina or Latinx or whatever, they don't have, these people don't have a problem with that because they're not going after white people. But when police start going after white people is when they don't care about the police. They don't believe that so-called blue lives matter at that point. So, because, hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite. But if you do want to see exactly why, people don't like the cops, especially ICE, and especially actions that are being, ICE is involved with, and then when other law enforcement helps along, let's look at, we would look at this, but for some reason the screen is not showing up. There we go. Now it's showing up. That's interesting. I don't know why we had a black screen of death, but it's now here. There you go. So here is an Australian reporter from 9 News. I don't know where in Australia 9 News is from. Could be Sydney, could be somewhere else. Crikey, who knows? But she's down there looking at the protests, and we can see exactly what happens. Just fair warning, there is going to be a little bit of gun violence in this. Nobody actually gets harmed with a live bullet, but there is a rubber bullet that is used that, we'll see what happens if you haven't seen it yet.
After hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The
Look at this
LAPD
one over here on the end over here on the left is what you're looking at. That one right there.
Moving them on through the heart of LA.
Yep. That police officer just shot her in the leg with a rubber bullet. Again, I don't feel like I have to censor this because there's no blood or whatever, but this officer literally just shot somebody, a reporter, in the street. Shooting a goddamn reporter in the street. And you don't think we're going to have a problem with that? That's the type of crap that Nazis do. And, no, you can't say that they're Nazis, Dan. You can't say that they're Nazis. Don't say it. Yeah, they're fucking Nazis. When you target an entire group and try to deport the people, that you shouldn't be deporting. Now they're talking about bringing back Garcia, finally, so he can actually get due process. Well, where was the due process before he was deported? These people are sitting here trying to claim that, there are people in like Facebook groups that are saying, oh, well, if you would have just, gotten here the legal way, then everyone would be fine. Well, no, because we talked about that on a previous show. When I think it was before we discussed Joni Ernst's terrible comments about, oh, everyone dies. The person who Donald Trump is, removing the parole allowing them to stay in the country. These people came in, they applied to be in the country, they needed to get medical help for their child. They started getting medical help for their child. They did everything legal. They did everything above board. They did not cross the border in violation of our immigration laws. They did absolutely everything the right way, even though it's always right to declare asylum. You should always have the ability to declare asylum. But even then, these people did what they needed to do, and they still rescinded it and are threatening to deport this person. And again, as we discussed in the video that came up, yesterday live, in the clip from a previous show, this girl will die. She will die if not for the health care that she was receiving here. And she gets booted from the country. She could die within a week. And then more blood will be on the hands of this administration. Absolutely more blood will be on the hands of this administration simply because they are bigoted, they are xenophobic, and they are pandering to whoever it is they want to pander to make a big spectacle and to harm these people. And all of their people are just going to clap and go, yay, yay for the violence. There's somebody who called into Jeff's show earlier today, and I happened to catch it as he called me Dopey Dan. Dopey Dan is what he likes to call me, apparently. It wasn't worth it to go try and dig up that clip. But one of the funny things about that guy calling me Dopey Dan was simply the fact that he couldn't figure out how to work his speakerphone. Like, he was on speaker and he could hear Jeff, and then he tried to turn off the speaker and he couldn't hear Jeff, and it was about a good minute of him acting like a complete and total idiot trying to figure out how to work his damn speakerphone while calling me, a dope. But go on. But this guy is they should just preemptively shoot the protesters first and then ask questions later. That's what conservatives do. That's what this president brings out in people. It allows the people to be who they really are and say all of the deplorable, horrible things that they really do want to say, that they really feel, because they don't give a crap about law and order. According to Bondi,
this country.
According to Bondi,
no one is above the law in this country.
I didn't have the volume up. But yeah, no one is above the law except for, when they are, except for when she will refuse to, take somebody and arrest somebody for contempt of court, or when, they support ideas like, shooting protesters without them committing any real crime that justifies the use of deadly force. But they don't care. If you're inconveniencing a conservative in any way, they believe that they're perfectly okay to use deadly force to take you out. And that's why Hillary Clinton was absolutely 100% accurate when she said that at least half of Donald Trump's supporters are in a basket of deplorables. Now, at this point, I think it's more. I think that number is higher. You've already had too few, opportunities. You've had many opportunities to get off the Trump train and realize that he's a shitbag. But if you haven't yet, and you're still supporting him, you're a shitbag too. Maybe I can find an exception or two, but the exception proves the rule. Anyway, so yeah, but what else is this administration going to do or trying to do? How else is this administration going to put people's lives at risk, going to cause more people to die? Well, RFK Jr. is going to fire all of the members of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee. Apparently, after he wrote a Wall Street Journal opinion piece, this wasn't made as a press release on a government site, on the CDC site, because I went and looked, it wasn't there. So you have to get behind the paywall of the Wall Street Journal to be able to read the words that RFK Jr. Wrote, saying that he wanted to fire all the members of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee. House Secretary RFK Jr. plans to fire all 17 members of the panel that advises for the CDC prevention on vaccines. The committee has been plagued, according to him, with persistent conflicts of interest and has become little more than a rubber stamp for any vaccine. Bullshit. You're a liar. you are putting people at risk because you are going to, you are making this whole thing a laughing stock. Donald Trump is making this whole thing a laughing stock. He's by putting RFK Jr. here. That makes us even more of a laughing stock. And by RFK Jr. now removing all of the people from this panel, claiming that all of them have conflicts of interests, is just yet another example of this administration putting the healths and lives of all the people in this country at risk. And goes, nearly 2 hours after Kennedy's column was published, members of the panel received termination notices from the CDC, according to a copy of the email seen by Politico. Per the June 9th, 2025 directive from Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, this email serves as a formal notice to your immediate termination as a member of ACIP. The notice reads, ACIP votes on updates to the CDC's vaccine schedule. The CDC director has the power to overrule those recommendations, but rarely does. Kennedy, a long-time vaccine skeptic, will now be able to select replacements for all members who usually serve 4-year terms. What could go wrong with one person getting to pick all of these people, and that person being somebody who will try and claim that he's not anti-vaccine, he just doesn't like X, Y, or Z. But if you're not supporting vaccines in the way that the head of the CDC should, support vaccines, you are anti-vaccine. Simple as that. Committee, which is scheduled to meet from June 25th to June 27th to consider several recommendations, will still meet then, but with new members. Kennedy's decision marks one of his most aggressive moves to date to overhaul how government makes decisions about vaccines. He cited putting the restoration of public trust among any pro or anti-vaccine agenda. This is not going to do anything to help the public trust with the vast majority of people who I would say, can understand that this is reasonable. Not the minority of people that y'all are pandering to by trying to claim that vaccines are somehow harmful or to, it's not a pro-vaccine agenda to support vaccines. It is a pro-health agenda. Vaccines help people. What we've seen with measles in this country has put more people at risk because we have idiots like RFK Jr. in charge of the Department of Health and idiots like Donald Trump in charge of the administration overall. The decision also seemed to buck promises that he made to Senator Bill Cassidy, Louisiana senator, chair of the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, to win confirmation for HHS secretary. Kennedy told Cassidy that he would maintain the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices without changes. He affirmed that to Cassidy before Cassidy agreed to confirm, and now he's shown that he's a big fat frickin' liar. On X, Cassidy said, of course, now the fear is that ACIP will be filled up with people who know nothing about vaccines except suspicion. I've just spoken with Secretary Kennedy and will continue to talk with him to ensure that's not the case. But it was already not the case, right? So what good purpose does it do? And of course, we here on Liberal Line Radio, we talked about how much of an idiot that Cassidy must be for believing RFK Jr. that he would do what he would say that he was going to do. Especially because if it's shown that he's going back on the promise and the word, you can't just have another vote to simply remove. You have to impeach at this point. It has just become more difficult to prevent this dangerous person from harming people with public health policies in this administration. Cassidy told reporters at the Capitol that he spoke with Kennedy twice on Monday and that the assurance he'd won from the now secretary to win his confirmation vote concerned ACIP process rather than membership. The HSS spokesperson said the department made standard congressional notifications about the decision to fire board members. Of course, he specifically promised to not do standard congressional notifications. He specifically promised to speak directly to Senator Cassidy on changes like this. And he didn't because he's a liar. Susan Collins of Maine, a member of the Help Committee and Appropriations Chair, was taken by surprise when asked about the move. I did not know that it had happened. It must have been very recent. I don't know who serves those committees, but it seems to be excessive to ask for everybody's resignation. Of course, he didn't ask for everybody's resignation. He gave everybody termination letters. Politico reported in February that Kennedy was considered replacing some of the panel members with his own selections. Public health experts were swift to express concerns. This is absolutely unprecedented. RFK Jr. has many levers at his disposal to influence vaccine policy, each with varying degrees of impact. But the move is a red alert level 4 alarm, said Caitlin Jedalina, an epidemiologist who consulted for the CDC in the past. Paul Offit, a former ACIP member and director of Children's Hospital of Philadelphia Vaccine Education Center, said the panel's recommendations have yielded significant public health wins, such as nearly eliminating or substantially decreasing hospitalizations of babies with illnesses covered by rotavirus and respiratory syncytial virus. Can we trust an ACIP of people that RFK Jr. deems adequate to make decisions, said Offit, who currently serves on the FDA's external vaccine panel. The end result of all this is chaos and distrust. Bruce Scott, president of the AMA, raised similar concerns with ongoing measles outbreaks and routine child vaccination rates declining. This move will further fuel the spread of vaccine-preventable illnesses, Scott wrote in a statement. How many more people does this administration want to see dead? Because you're going to see many more dead children because of the actions of RFK Jr., many more dead people because of the actions now that, he will be filling all of those slots with individuals who are obviously going to back RFK Jr.'s stance on vaccine, whatever crazy harebrained ideas they might be, which could very well change from day to day, especially when what he tells Congress versus what he does in his actual job. And also, maybe it depends on what the little brainworm wants to, I guess, tell him. Maybe the brainworm is secretly really the anti-vax individual and is controlling all of these decisions. But then again, who knows? Maybe RFK Jr. is going to suggest that everybody go swimming in that creek that's filled with sewage as a way to strengthen your immune systems, because that's the way that these idiots think. Anyway. What else do we wish to talk about? See, Leanna asks, is anyone more support from your family here than your family could ever have? Snail pace for people to stand up against this regime. Yes, we need to do more standing up. We need to do more fighting back. Let's see. Let's kind of scroll back, see what else is said in the chat. So at Uranus yesterday, I guess I took the parking spot that a guy wanted. He decided to tell me English not first language, so he was polite. I said, just call me an asshole. Hilarious. See, I can't multitask reading chat and commenting. Sorry. Good to see you as always. Yes. Let's see. My elderly parents play the TV at full volume. It's giving me anxiety and headache, especially if your parents are watching Fox News. Jolie does that apparently. Has to deal with her parents watching Fox News, whatever. I'll see Josh. She does daily morning shows over coffee and a joint. It's very nice. I chat less there because whatever. Anyway, let's just see what else is being said in the chat before I continue. You'll need Dan's new waist size to mail some Daisy Dukes. I don't know. I mean, I was wearing a 5X, and now the smaller 5X shorts are not fitting. We'll see what fits at some point in the near future as we continue to lose weight. I'm sure I'll have to buy new shorts and then buy new shorts again. Although maybe I can go dig into my old clothes stockpiles and find shorts that I used to be able to wear and now I'll be able to wear again, hopefully, as we continue to drop the pound. Yes, NIH scientists wrote a stern letter. Stern letter, that'll do what we need to have done, right? I need, some illness to come write a strong letter to the immune systems of the individuals who are hurting people and let natural causes take its course. Anyway. See, sometimes it's better to live and let live, but then some situations are stressful. I'm 67 and my wife's uncle is not allowed here. I mean, I have a similar circumstance when my mom found her kin via 23andMe or Ancestry or one of the two. All them people are all a bunch of crazy-ass conservative a-holes. And I have quickly just eliminated them from my life, with maybe the exception of the person who's not actually her blood relative, who she moved to live the closest to. But because, like, this dude was, or the guy and his wife, the guy was the half-brother of my mom's half-brother, but not my mom's half-brother. Lots of twisties going on, twisty turns in the family tree of that family over there that I have no interest in taking part in at all whatsoever. Let's see. Evie's aunt, my Italian grandmother, was born to an American mother. She came to U.S. as a 5-year-old to escape Mussolini's Italy. She was denied her citizenship and was threatened with deportation during World War II. I'm glad she isn't alive to see this. Oh, absolutely. I'm sure there are plenty of people who have lived through bullshit in their lives that are now, you know, if they were still alive, would have very big problems with a lot of the stuff that this administration is doing. Yes, Leanna, Trump has given jackassery a new meaning. Or as I like to say, motherfuckers be motherfuckering. And that's what they be doing in this administration. They be motherfuckering. So anyway. Should this be this? Maybe this should be this. I think this should be this. Because, well, and I won't see what you're saying for a second, because I'm sitting here and I'm covering the thing so I can look more at the camera whilst recording this Fat Man Rant. The Liberal Dan Radio presents Fat Man Rant. I can do a regular one when I don't really need that one. Anyway, so you know how the media likes to pass off feel-good stories that really shouldn't be feel-good stories? Well, one of those crossed my Facebook feed today, and it's from Salt Lake City, Utah. At 80 years old, according to Local 12, Gary Sailing is back to bagging groceries, a job he once did in high school. So many, many years ago. This time it's not for pocket money. It's a, quote, labor of love. Sailing is working to pay off $80,000 in medical bills left from his late wife Carol's battle with sundowner syndrome, a form of dementia. Sailing, who once designed multi-million-dollar mansions, met Carol at a stoplight in 1991, the exact instant we both raised our sunglasses, the same moment, he said, recalling their serendipitous meeting. Their love story continued until Carol's passing in 2021. You know, obviously, good, long relationship. I'm sure many good things could be said about these two, and I'm not trying to bemoan or begrudge the love that these two people had. What I am begrudging is the fact that the media is trying to turn this whole thing into a feel-good story. Despite Medicare covering some costs, Sailing said, his commitment to care for Carol at home left him with significant financial burdens. What wasn't covered was the promise that I kept that I would keep her at home. She didn't want to go to a nursing home. She made him promise to not send her to a nursing home, so he did not send her to a nursing home and took care of her at home. That's fine, but why is Medicare not covering the aid that you need? Now, maybe this is a circumstance where he was choosing to make a decision that would have been covered otherwise, except he decided to have her stay at home. But that just goes to show you, like, what's wrong. One of the things that's wrong with our country. And I talked about this a little bit on one of my previous shows, videos that I've uploaded this past weekend, which was talking about how, you know, capitalism literally just kills people. Because you have to make decisions in this capitalistic society that basically forces people to make hard decisions. Either they can't buy the medicine that they need, so they pass away, or they can't get the care in the manner in which they, want to get the most dignified care. It should not be that difficult or that expensive to have somebody be taken care of at home. Like, if at home should be cheaper, and it should be covered as cheaper. I mean, the only thing that might be more expensive is getting somebody out to the home to deal with the costs, as opposed to deal with all of the medical things that are going on with an individual versus, maybe everybody in one sort of same area. But again, there should not be that reason why this individual has $80,000 in medical debt remaining when his spouse is covered by Medicare. So the community in St. George, Utah took notice of Sailing's dedication. Dwana Johnson, who runs a small ministry in town, started a fundraiser to help him. Saw Gary bagging groceries and thought, why is this guy still here? She organized a donation account at the State Bank of Southern Utah, set up a Venmo account for contributions. Fundraiser has raised about $2,000 so far. Sailing remains humble about the support he's receiving. There's no way I'm a hero. I'm not an angel. I'm certainly not a saint. I did make a promise to keep her at home and never put her in a nursing home because I took vows. And that's all well and good. But again, this is not a feel-good story. This is a story about how a person who's 80 years old has to work when they shouldn't have to work to cover medical bills that should have been covered. We should not be making this into this is a great example of our society. We should be making videos about this that basically say, this is why society is screwed up. These are the changes that need to happen in society so that 80-year-olds don't have to work off to pay off their dead spouse's medical debt. If you disagree with me on that statement, you can come fight me in the comments. You can call into the show another day or whatever. Or if you're listening now, you can call in the show in a few minutes when I open up the phone lines. But if you disagree with this, if you think that this is just a feel-good story that, oh, he's just working hard to pay off the debts, no. So it's wrong. One of the many things wrong with society today. Another Liberal Dan Radio Fat Man rant. Let's see. A friend of mine sent me a pic of a pride flag, but it was in gray colors. Said gray pride. They were old. We're tired. Get off our lawn. I don't know if that's kind of usurping or trampling over, the individuals, what pride is supposed to be about. Then again, there are people who are gray ace, and I don't know if that, that also, gray ace folks person who are, either gray sexual or asexual. Those people, I guess, shouldn't be mocked either. So I don't know. People just can be really shitty with it. I'm not saying you're shitty, Jeff, but I don't necessarily think that's the best thing to do in pride. It's just like, people usurping the whole Black Lives Matter movement by trying to say Blue Lives Matter when there's no such thing as a blue life. Let's see. After my bypass in 2003, I received an assessment for a nominal cost $100,000 plus. Canada, no charge. Exactly. I mean, I've looked at the amount of money. I mean, we spent $4,000 on my wife this year so far. $4,000 for her health care costs, because that's her maxed out of pocket. No more than $4,000. So why doesn't this guy have a system? Why is there a max out of pocket for Medicare? There should be no costs. Or if there are costs, it should be minimal. And maybe even means tested. But it's just frustrating beyond all get out that we have to deal as a society with this kind of BS. 62 now, I feel the need for a nap after dinner. I feel the need for a nap all the time because I'm just, exhausted. Hopefully the exhaustion will end soon because we're having a yard sale this weekend. I got to print out some stuff and get the signs posted out and about so that people can know that there's a garage sale or whatever, estate sale going on. So there's all that, but we've been putting a lot of work in the house recently trying to figure out which stuff to keep, which stuff to get rid of. We have tons of boxes right now in our backyard that need to be gone through. There's a lot of stuff, but needs to get done, needs to be getting taken care of. So if I end the show earlier than normal, it's because I'm exhausted. But hopefully there's not this upcoming Friday or the next Friday, but the Friday afterwards, I'll be gone for a week. We'll be taking some vacation with my family. And hopefully by that time, everything else that we need to get done with that house will be done and we'll be finished with it. And I can take a deep sigh of relief and stop having over $1,000 a month draining out of my checking account, having to upkeep this house. So anyway, hey, Susie, good to see you. Thank you for joining. My screen just over there went black. I see a computer screen and I see that it is black. Sorry, that's terrible. Terrible parody. What else do we want to talk about? We have more about RFK Jr. on here. More about RFK Jr. We already kind of covered that. Donald Trump being a fucking idiot. people want to bring up, dementia Joe, how Joe Biden, how do these Democrats not know that Joe Biden had dementia while having this idiot of a president in charge? Captain Covfefe, United States of America, the oranges of COVID-19, all of the stupid things that he's said. He's a dumbass. You cannot criticize anything that Joe Biden has ever said or done without also criticizing Donald Trump for being even worse. I mean, the guy, speaking about like sundowning, this guy is absolutely sundowning. But even if he wasn't, even if he's, supposedly fully mentally cognizant, person, woman, man, camera, TV, how hard is that, right? He wanted to talk about eggs the other day. He wanted to talk about eggs. The price of eggs, and everyone was picking on poor Donald about the price of eggs. Well, here's what old Donnie Boy has to say.
Grocery prices are down. Everything. Remember eggs? We weren't going to buy another egg for the next 20 years. They were so expensive, right? Remember? You guys all hit me about eggs. Eggs have come down 400%.
400%, y'all. Eggs have come down so much that they're paying you to get eggs now. Because if eggs come down 400%, if eggs came down 100%, they would be free. If eggs cost, $8 for 18 or whatever it is that they cost, I think it was like $5 for 18 at Costco the other day. So yeah, prices came down a little bit, but yeah, if let's say it was $6, if these prices came down 400%, that means that you lose the $6 and then another 3 times that. So they're giving you $18 for 18 eggs. The guy's a frickin' moron. And people chose him to be the president of these United States. Dumbass. Bunch of dumbasses. Yes, 400% cheaper eggs. 400%. Now, maybe somebody told him some other number. Maybe he said 40, maybe he meant 40%. I don't know. I tried to give the benefit of that. But these are the people who, will talk about, when Barack Obama once said that he's been to 50, and then he paused for a second as if to say, wait, I haven't been to all 50 states, and then said 57, but 57 states. We all know that nobody really should believe that Barack Obama really believes there are 57 states. Probably meant 47, but he misspoke. Of course, there was a time when Donald Trump said that we had Obamacare for 17 years back, I think, in 2016. No, he didn't, but you're an idiot. And I tried to give people the benefit of the doubt. I called up and I called in Jeff's show and I was like, look, clearly, If you're not going to sit here and complain about Donald Trump being the idiot thinking that we had Obamacare for 17 years, then maybe we should get off the whole Barack Obama said 57 states too. Of course, I rightly predicted that when Jeff did that, and then when Jeff responded, he would say, sure felt like 17 years, yuck, yuck. But, that's because conservatives are oft predictable as well. Yes, very stable genius. He is a very stable genius. And by very stable, I mean unstable. And by unstable, I would wish he would go into a stable and stay there and not be in the White House anymore. Someone should kick him into the frickin' horse home or whatever. Anyway, let's go ahead. I didn't even open up this thing yet, so we can actually do that. Let's turn off Do Not Disturb. And let's go ahead and open up the phone lines. If you would like to call in to Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. It's 562-LIB-DAN1, 562-LIB-DAN1, 562-542-3261. Feel free to call into the show. If you disagree with things that I'm saying, call in. If you agree with things that I say, call in. You want to tell me that I'm, the best podcast ever, do that. If you want to say something else, do it too. Just don't call me late for supper. Huh. Anyway, let's see. If any of you are familiar with Environmental Coffee House, she was banned from YouTube for promoting child abuse, which is a lie. Interesting. I did see something interesting though about there is somebody who I'm assuming is a trans woman. somebody who several people on the show, several listeners, go to that program sometimes after this. If you're not going to go to Dude, it goes to this one or whatever. One of the things I've determined, or that I've seen, that's very disappointing, is that when looking at this particular creator's video, my McAfee antivirus system does other things too, and it says scanning for deep fakes, and it believes that a deep fake was detected. What? I don't think this person is a deep fake. I think this person is just trans, and your system, your software is not well suited to be able to handle, I guess, people who might be transitioning or whatever. Let's see. See, do you remember the Nike tag commercial? They could do stuff like that. I don't remember what the Nike tag commercial was. See, what a lying piece of POS, ignorant douchebag and his ignorant douchebag followers that believe every ignorant thing he says. Derps. Yep. He is a dumb MFer, that's for darn sure. Let's make sure that my ringer is off here because I don't want to have the ringy sound going into the chat. Or to be heard through my microphone. So they could screw with Donnie enough to make him look like the boy that cried wolf. Of course, with them, the boy who cried wolf, the moral of the story of the boy who cried wolf to conservatives is that you keep believing somebody who lies to you because one day they might tell you the truth. So if you happen to catch it, though, I did have a post. Let me see if I can bring this up while we're waiting for a call. I did, let's see, Liberal Dan Radio. Let's go bring this up. Bring up the Facebook page. Go to Liberal Dan Radio here. If you've not seen this, this has been posted both on my Twitter account, or on my Twitter account, on my Blue Sky account, and on my Facebook page. I created this one with the Musk-Trump civil war, and it's Elon Musk as Iron Man, Trump as Captain America. Should be Captain Nazi, though. It does kind of look ominous. Kind of looks like a cross between Captain America and what Thanos might be, except he's not purple. But yeah, I was able to do that in AI real quick, so I was like, all right, let's have fun with this. And we created the Civil War meme to go along with their whole fight amongst each other. So let's see. Do I have anything else I want to share? Oh, that's nothing. Although there was some, the little peg, the little game that's like a triangle, and it has like little golf tees, and you try and put the pegs in the right holes and try and leave yourself with one. Something was like, hey, come to a pegging event. I'm like, that's not quite what you think it means there, people. So, yes, uncivilized war of a-holes. I'll have to see what this, open this in new tab. Let's see what this commercial might be. Oh, in order to play the commercial, though, you have to actually skip another ad. Trying to see if I remember this one or not. Oh yeah, I think I remember that commercial, the Tag Your It commercial from 13 years ago. Yeah, I remember that one. Anyway, when commercials were funny back in the day. Let's see. I don't get commercials. Oh, it'll just on ads or whatever because you're watching here, because if you're a subscriber, if you're a member, if you're Liberal Danimal, you don't get commercials, right? Actually, no. Actually, on YouTube you do, unless you're maybe on YouTube TV. I don't know, because one of the reasons I don't play commercials live in the middle of the show is I don't want y'all missing any bit of the show. We do have a phone call. Somebody is calling in. Let's go ahead and answer the phone. Well, the person didn't say who the name was, but let's see. Hey, caller, what's going on?
Hi, this is Susie.
Hey, Susie, what's going on?
I just wanted to tell y'all thank you for being so kind and that I did receive your funds. And I'm hopefully got all that mess cleared up and it'll be okay.
That's
My
good to
rent's
hear.
paid, my power is paid, and I have food to eat.
That's very good to hear. Well, I'm
Grateful.
glad. I'm glad we could help. I'm glad we could do, whatever it is that we can come together and help you out. I appreciate you. Glad for. Thank you for calling in too. It's good to put a voice to the name on the screen or whatever. But yeah, see, somebody saying audio is very low. Is it my audio that's low, or is it her audio that's low?
I think maybe I might not be speaking up clearly.
No, you sound good to my ears. I don't know. Could be somebody else's audio. I don't know, but you sound fine to me. But someone else is saying that the audio is low. I don't know if it's everybody's or if not. But I think it might be. They could be their browser. I don't know, or their app. So anyway,
I just wanted to say, too, what's going on in California is just a stage for what's going to happen on Saturday. I want everybody to be prepared, know your rights, be peaceful, and be present, because we're not going to get another chance at this.
and
I
what is
really
going on
don't.
Saturday?
The No Kings protest.
Okay, perfect. Yes, the no kings. We should absolutely not have any kings in this country. We don't have kings. We're not supposed to have kings.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
That's
As
what
Monty
America was
Python
founded
says.
on.
Yeah, we were founded on getting rid of kings, not installing a new one. So our
And
our founders would be even the fact that they might have some things in common with Trump, and the fact that he's racist or whatever. Our founders would be rolling around in their graves hearing somebody calling themselves a king. So
oh, no kidding.
anyway,
But also, happy Pride Month, and to all friends out there and foes alike. This is America. We're Americans, and we belong here. And just embrace each other.
yep, absolutely. And again, thank you for being a listener. Thank you for calling in, and you're more than welcome to call in any other time as well. Thank you so much, and you have a good rest of your day.
You too. Thank you, Dan.
All right, bye, Susie. All right, Susie calling in. And again, Susie, thankful for all the help that have been happening. Of course, if anybody wants to help anymore, it's fine. Seems like she has things under control, but again, I'm glad to use my whatever presence I have online to help other people. That's the most important thing to do that anybody can do, especially now during this terrible times, during the dark times, during the Trump empire. So King Charles has no desire to visit USA during the King 47's reign. Why would you? I'm surprised anybody would want to come visit the United States during this hellhole that we're in, the hellscape, the the deplorable running the show. Terrible, terrible thing to do. Terrible thing to have to deal with. Let's see. What else did I miss? Let's see if I can pull that up as well. So maybe we can talk a little bit more about the No Kings protests that might be going on. There are June 14th protests in New Jersey. That's just, I think, talking about the Jersey Indivisible, a progressive activist group. Together we find on June 14th, as Trump throws himself a lavish military parade in D.C., we're going to be rising up with all protests all across the country. Join us to reject Trump's authoritarian vision and to show the wannabe king what democracy looks like. One of the things that I'll really be happy about once I get my new knees is the fact that maybe I'll be able to go out and start protesting and doing stuff out and about, because my knees won't kill me as I'm doing it. So that would be nice. We'll see. Let's see. Oh, I thought it had to do with tags on Nike shoes. Oh. You did fine, Susie. You did well. I mean, I'm glad you were able to call in. I think my wife has a T-shirt with that lip biting thing on it, though. But yeah, definitely happy. One of the things that I guess I'll talk about myself for a second, just personal things that I share from time to time. I've explained on the show, I guess, why I don't label myself. I mean, I am in a heterosexual relationship in that I'm a guy, wife's a woman, we're both cis. And so our relationship is very straight appearing. That being said, I am pan. I've never, never been like, ooh, there's a cis guy I want to be with or whatever. But who would, right? But no, dated somebody back in the day who afterwards came out as a trans man, and I would, have still dated that person had they came out as a trans man to me whilst we were seeing each other. So thank you so much, Leanna. You're amazing. Thank you so much for the $49.99 super chat. Love you for that. Thank you so much. And let's see, we got Big Hook calling in. Let's go ahead and give him an answer before it actually ends. And here we go. We got Big Hook coming in. Just to finish my point, though, while I talk about, the fact that I am, I guess, technically out as pan or whatever, even though I am in a very straight appearing thing, I still have imposter syndrome when it comes to embracing things like being part of Pride or whatever. So, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get over that one day, but who knows? Anyway, how are you today, Big Hook? Thank you for starting the organization for everything and to getting it, I guess, to the right place or whatever. And hopefully, I guess, again, Susie gets the help that, she's needed. And, I'm more than happy to use my show to help others in the future, especially because people were helping me out when I needed it back when my wife was in the hospital too. So again, thank you for that. And thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Can you hear me?
Do that. Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry about that. I had to switch off my Bluetooth.
No problem. I was just sitting there. I was just thanking you for organizing the thing for Susie. So, I was just saying nice things about you, but you could always listen during the replay. Anyway.
No worries. No worries.
What's going on?
So do you fly Pan Am?
I used to work for Pan American. I used to work for Pan American Life, but I think I might have flown Pan Am back in the day. Yes. So maybe I should have known. I should have known back then, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't resist. That was a little bit too easy.
It's the obvious joke to make, I like pots too, right? So anyway.
Yeah. Just wanted to say, I think I missed my calling as a psychic hotline because just about everything I've predicted Trump would do has pretty much come to fruition. It's, as I said, I thought he would try to utilize the AI to as a surveillance tool, as well as to basically dox all of his enemies.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty much what Elon Musk was doing, was gathering up everyone's records and whatnot to be able to isolate, as well as, who knows. My guess is that he will, and maybe this is horrible to say, but maybe he's going to try and IRS audit all the people that step up, are against him at this point. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, Nixon tried to do it, and
right.
But that, and then on top of that, what was it? I said it was the escalation was going to happen, that he was going to try and impose martial law, and he's halfway there already in LA.
Yep.
I mean,
now he wants to arrest Newsom. And that's one thing I think I neglected to talk about earlier that I should have, is the fact that he says that, I think Holman said that Newsom should be arrested, and Trump agreed with it or whatever, basically saying that Newsom, why would Newsom be arrested for, even if you think he failed to do the job, why would you arrest him? But in reality, Newsom had tweeted out something to the effect that it would set a dangerous precedent to arrest sitting governors. But I said all during, the last Biden's term, that there are two governors who absolutely should have been arrested, and that's Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott, for usurping the authority that they don't have as governors, because the power of dealing with naturalization and immigration belongs to the federal government, not the states, because of the 10th Amendment, and also for the fact that they freaking human trafficked people. And also Abbott also put those berms out in the middle of the Rio with razor wire that would, could harm people. These people absolutely should have been rounded up and arrested and locked up in prison. But there are legitimate reasons to lock up sitting governors. What Newsom has done is not an example of that. And apparently there are many people here who will absolutely, if you watch it, will say that the police or the federal government response to what's going on is actually causing it to flare up more. But probably that's by design by Donald Trump, because he wants to be able to show people as violent so that he can justify his use of violence against them, even though they're not necessarily really being violent. Just like the whole blame of like in what is it, Minneapolis or whatever, when they burned the police station down and they tried to blame it on Black Lives Matter when it was really a Boogaloo boy that did it, because the conservatives want to try and make the liberals and leftists, progressives, look like the violent folks so that they can justify their violence against them, against us. So.
Well, that's just it. I mean, they're always guilty of what they accuse us of. It's the projection, hypocrisy of the Republicans. I mean, they're like, oh, but I'm Christian. I hold the Bible up, therefore it makes me a good person. Bullshit. It's your actions that dictate whether you're a good person or a bad person. Right. I mean, these guys are so stupid they don't understand that, that's how it works in real life. You're judged by your actions. It's not by, and you can say all kinds of things, but it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Right.
I mean, that's what it all boils down to. I mean,
well, in some things, what you say versus what you do is what you say can give it. Like if you say you want to do something and you don't get all the way there yet, you should still believe that the person wants to get all the way there. Like what went on with Trump and his campaigning in 2016 of his total and complete Muslim ban, the ban of Muslim people entering the country. He's now done it, I think, on 10 countries. He's returned back to the travel ban, which includes areas that he messed up in the first place. But we don't sit here. The conservatives say, well, he never did that. He only did 7 countries or 10 countries. I'm like, well, that's you don't wait for them to finish what they say they want to do. If they say they want to harm people, you believe them that they want to harm people from day one, and you stop them from harming anybody. That's when their words matter more than their actions. But otherwise, yes, actions usually matter more than words.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, right? I mean, and then the other problem is we seem to have a certain camp that believes that we need to be capable of forgiving these people, and it's like, why?
I mean,
they don't deserve it. I mean, they keep putting in horrible people who do nothing but harm them, as well as others who've done nothing wrong other than exist and are doing what they're capable of to survive. I mean, I don't understand it. It's stupidity on steroids. But they're all racist, bigoted hypocrites. I mean, they go on and on and on about how, oh yeah, but they crossed illegally, and it's like, yeah, somewhere down your ancestry line, someone did the same thing to get to America.
Yep.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's, everyone has an origin story, and you're trying to deny them theirs. And that's the thing. It's all fucking bullshit. It is all fucking bullshit. They live on it. They eat it. They spout it. It's just nonstop. They don't want to live in the reality. They don't want to do the things that are necessary to make change as well as help other people. And it always comes down to the same. Oh, I'm proud flag-waving Republican with a Bible in one hand and a cross in the other. And, I love America. I just hate everybody that don't look like me. I mean, it's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. And and unfortunately that is the picture that's being revealed to the rest of the world. is that, you're not the land of opportunity. You're not the land of law and order anymore. You're just the land of racist bigots that, have third-degree education and, by the grace of God, somehow have managed to survive. It's probably
I don't know
from
how some of these
generational.
people pull up pants. Like, I don't know how
Yeah.
they figure out how to use it. I mean, maybe they all have Velcro shoes and just all have elastic pants when they don't necessarily need it. But how they manage to turn on their computers, use their cell phones or whatever, how these people are able to survive is just beyond me. Like, maybe they just they fill up with the bare minimum of what they need to do to be able to feed themselves or whatever, and then you fill the rest of their brains with hate.
Well, that's just it. I don't understand. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the Darwin, awards can't happen fast enough for some of these people. I mean, they are that bloody stupid,
Right.
I thought, it's funny because the other day there, you won't believe this, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
I was where I was at work, and there was this guy, and he was talking to these two little boys. I guess he was saddled with taking them out for the day or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he was trying to convince them the flat Earth theory, and I was like, oh my God, these idiots are amongst us. And he was like, oh, when you look up into the sky, you don't see the same, the rotational force and whatnot. And why is it that if the Earth is flat, then you should see the same stars every single night? And I was like, dude, you realize that those are other galaxies that are not under the guise of the sun's magnetic forces and pull, as well as the rotational properties that, for orbits. And, and he couldn't get that. And I was like, this is a grown man.
I mean, I would love to find a flat earther to be able to debate, because I have questions. I have tons of, because there's this one flat earther idea that, like, the sun and the moon all kind of move just like in a circle, and that's why you see night and day. I'm like, well, what happens when you have an eclipse and they both crash together? That doesn't make any sense. But
and the ice wall that they can't possibly cross, and I mean, the stupidity that just goes on. But
there's one simple proof that just proves that we don't have a flat Earth. Is that the cats would have knocked everything off of the Earth by now if we did really have a flat Earth.
That's true.
Although the other side of the story is that all of the oceans, the world's oceans and seas and lakes or whatever, they are not carbonated. So I guess technically you could say that the Earth is flat, right?
Okay, all right, you win this round of punditry.
I put the pun in political punditry, so.
Yes, you do. Well, every once in a while I come up with some decent ones. Did you see my Barr Epstein virus joke?
Yeah.
I thought that was fairly good.
Yes.
That and my textual assault one, I thought, I mean, it's not easy coming up with jokes. So, appreciate the effort that goes into them. I mean, that's the thing, it's
yes. Well, that's why, like I threw when I make the jokes that I do, when I made Hal laugh with one of my bits that I made up with the whole liberal Dan's Chopper City, and I got a chuckle out of him, I was like, all right, I'm good. I made a comedian laugh at one of my jokes, so yay.
Yeah. Well,
Tim goes, you put the laughter in slaughter. What's weird is, like Gallagher said, why does laughter and daughter rhyme? They shouldn't rhyme. Or why don't they rhyme? They should. They're spelled the same way, just L versus a D, but two different words, completely different. Yeah.
I saw a really bad one today. It was, what do you call a magician who's lost his magic?
What?
Ian. Think about it.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah. Well, and
I'll
that's
have
the
to,
thing.
I'll have to tell that to my oldest. My oldest will groan whenever I tell a bad joke, but I'll
Yes,
have to
that's
tell it to him
definitely
anyway.
a dad joke. That's
Yes.
definitely a dad joke. But
Dad jokes are
saw
rad
that
jokes.
earlier today, and that was like, yep. It takes a few seconds, and then you realize what it means, but yeah, But that's the thing. We're desperately looking for sanity these days, and the court gestures, the comedians of late night, are the ones that are now effectively the truth tellers, because mainstream media is failing on so many fronts. I mean, outside of a few, they are just basically going with whatever the narrative. I mean, Stephanie Miller was saying this morning that the local news was telling about the protests from the Trump perspective, and I was like,
right.
I mean, and it's like, because he holds their licenses, and so if they don't play ball, he'll shut them all down. And it's like, what happened to freedom of the press? Like, what is this shit?
Right.
Like you're given a huge responsibility, and it shouldn't be that he holds the key. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's the advertiser's responsibility to keep you in business. It's not him,
right,
or the FCC. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the FCC is just basically guidelines on which you have to operate. I mean, outside of you paying your standard fee to be in the market, that should be it. I mean,
I'm wondering though, like how much FCC action are we going to see at this point? Because I've heard some, like on that station that I listen to sometimes, there's a 11 to noon show that has some of the most racist crap I've ever heard on it, and I'm frankly surprised that that they're allowed to get away with it, except for the fact that it's the Trump administration is now running the FCC, and as such, I don't expect them to go after conservatives who say racist, bigoted, and other crap. Like, I mean, there's the word to describe gay people that sometimes people over in Britain or England, I don't know if it's in Canada too, will use to describe like the butt of a cigarette or whatever. That F word.
Yes.
And this guy just openly just called people that, and I'm just like, really? Like, I was half tempted to call up and say, hey, Jeff, do you like this word on your show? And to just say the word over and over and over again. It's like, well, apparently your hosts don't seem to have a problem with it, so I guess you shouldn't have a problem with it either. But it's just, these people. And then they had some parody on, and I don't even want to play it because it's terrible. But they took like the walk like an Egyptian and said they made it work like a Mexican, and I'm just like, oh, are you freaking kidding me? And I couldn't even hear half the words because the audio quality, but still.
But I mean, we've had the Mexican backhoe joke for ages. It just basically means, I didn't do it with a machine. I did it with manual physical labor. I mean, and that's just it. It's like, but. They weren't
even creative enough to actually use a mariachi band to play the music of Walk Like an Egyptian, which would have been at least somewhat smart. But again, they're not smart. Go ahead.
Yeah, they never are. That's the whole thing. I mean, they basically try to replicate what we actually come up with because they haven't got any creative chops of their own. I mean, let's face it, Greg Gutfeld, he's the saddest attempt at being a comedian. I mean, he's not funny, not one bit whatsoever, and these people worship him, and I'm like, you worship that stupidity? It's not funny, it's not relative, it's all lies, it's exaggerations of racism. It's not exaggerations of stupid behavior, which most people know that it's wrong. These people look at it as gospel, and I'm like, you guys are really fucking full of shit. You're full of yourselves and your racist bigotry, and you live your life thinking that you're better than other people that don't share the same melanin count as you. You know, it's just beyond sense, you know. I mean, I remember we used to say, oh, some people have street sense and some people have book sense. And, you know, in the conservative agenda, they have neither. You know, they just,
nonsense.
you know, oh, I went to Harvard. I went to Harvard and I learned nothing. I learned their lies, and I know that they're lies because I say so. It's like, fuck off. You're that stupid that you would go and spend $100,000 to go to Harvard, and then to come out the other end and believe none of it.
Right.
What for? What? So that way you can have the title of lawyer who doesn't actually work.
Right.
Who isn't capable of actually performing the law, you know, just to go out there and badmouth it. I mean, I don't know anymore. These people are, you know, they are insane. They really are. They take everything. And, you know, how does that saying go? I mean, don't believe your eyes, your ears. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Right.
They don't live in the same reality as you and I. They want to believe what they want to believe, and they color, you know, here's a color code everything the way they want to see it. Doesn't that, you know, hold some truth there? I mean, I wasn't deliberately trying to make the extension, but there it is, because that's how they see the world. It's black and white or brown. You know, everybody else in the world who's a Democrat or a liberal sees the world in color, and they see it as, oh, it's all black and white.
Right.
Don't you know? And I'm white, therefore I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, right for the loony bin. That's about it.
Pretty much.
You know, I don't think you guys can survive 4 years of this crap. You're not even 6 months in.
Yeah,
and you're already at the point where you've got riots that, you know, possible riots in LA because ICE is overstepping their bounds, and they're treating the streets of LA like it's Fallujah.
Yep.
I mean,
shooting
that's fucking bullshit.
Shooting reporters with rubber bullets. Like, you know, just, I mean, and like right on camera, like you see the guy just like, here's the gun, shoot. Like,
well, that's the thing. They've been dying to shoot people, and, you know, and they think, oh, well, I'm tired of shooting black people. I want to shoot some white people instead. You know, it's like, this just never fucking ends. As far as I'm concerned, they should take the whole Trump administration and all these fucking ICE agents and put them on a deserted desert island and leave them to survive. You know, make it their own personal survival, and say, you know what? Let's see how you do. Let's see how you survive based on your own bullshit and racist bigotry, and see who comes out on top. Because in the end, none of them will, because they can't.
For the longest time, I wanted to say, look, you know, let's just give all of the MAGA folks, like, let them take South Dakota, North Dakota, Idaho, Wyoming, like Kansas, all Oklahoma, all these dark red conservative places in like the middle of the country, you know, and just let them have it. They could build their wall. They could, you know, they could, you know, control all that, as long as you're not including like the Indian reservations, for the indigenous people, and then just let them have their own land. They'll end up offing themselves, because they'll let some, it'll be run rampant with measles. Like all of the whole area will just die of all of the diseases that are preventable, and then we'll be able to just go take it back. And there won't be any of them left, because, you know, they're too stupid to, you know, listen to experts on anything.
Yeah, but, like, I saw this guy, he put out an excellent short And he said Republicans and their terms for how you qualify for Medicaid. And it was like, oh, well, you have to make below 27 grand a year. You have to have worked 80 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing less, nothing more. Right?
Right.
Then you have to show proof of all your working hours as well as what you made. Then, and it's like they make it impossible.
Right.
It's a deliberate attempt to take the money that's allocated for Medicare and to pocket it. They don't want to serve their citizenry, and I don't know what it's going to take at this point, because what is it? Robert Reich, he had that thing there from that movie Ants, and he said, if they realize that there are more of us than there are of them, the grasshoppers or whatever it was in the movie.
Right.
He said they could end us in a heartbeat, but you have to crack down and be cruel and hope that none of them catch on to the fact that we outnumber them. We're smarter than them. We have mechanisms such as the law and the courts that should side with us,
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that everything moves at a snail's pace, and as a result, the amount of damage that Trump is trying to do is, if he keeps going at the pace he's going, and at the end of 4 years, there won't be anything left of the United States as we last knew it. It'll be gone. I'm
Right.
convinced that you guys are going to lose the Olympics and the World Cup, because who's going to go? Who's going to risk being put in a detention center? Who's going to want to let's face it. It would be the same as acknowledging Hitler and participating in the Olympics.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine, like, there were, you had like Jesse Owens at the Olympics, in Germany. Imagine, like, people saying, well, we could go to Nazi Germany and have and participate in the Olympics, but we're not going to America. How embarrassing would that be for us, that we couldn't hold an Olympics when the Nazis could?
Well, that's just it, but Hitler wanted to show off, and he wanted to prove his superiority. And in the end, it completely fell on his face with it, because, the Americans basically went out and dominated and proved that the racist ideology that Hitler was espousing was not true.
Right.
And that's just it. It's just, we're at that point now. Scientists are leaving the U.S. We've got doctors that are coming up here to Canada, and they say the same thing. They say, what's really nice? I don't have to negotiate with insurance companies on patients' behalf.
Right.
I don't have to get authorization for tests. I don't have to do. All I do is I say, here's what I did. This is what I need to be paid for, and that's it. And there's no questions. It's automatically paid for. It's automatically, the physician gets what he's supposed to get.
Mm-hmm.
This universal health care is cheaper, more effective, and reduces the administration costs to little to nothing, because it's all basically, here's what I did, here's what I need to be reimbursed for.
Right.
And the government of Canada says, fine, that's it. We do it. You have a right to health care. We don't deny anybody. And the Republicans are trying to take absolutely everything away from everybody. And if the insurance companies do work their magic, you won't have any hospitals left. because they'll all have closed by the fact that they refuse to submit payment or to allow tests or whatever, because they're trying to pad their bottom line. Like,
Yep. I mean,
that's illegal.
And
That's basically genocide. That's genocide. That's genocide. There's no two ways about it. Oh, I decide who gets health care and who doesn't. Yeah. Even though you paid into your insurance premiums and whatnot. How can you be denied?
Well, that's one of the biggest issues I had with the conservative opposition to the Affordable Care Act was the fact that the insurance companies were acting terribly. They were like letting people pay while they were sick, and then once they were healthy, while they were healthy, once they were sick, the insurance companies were like, okay, we're going to cancel your policy, thus screwing over the person who paid in money. That's like a bait and switch. Like, you shouldn't be able to dump anybody if somebody's paying in while they're healthy. You get sick, then you can dump them. No, it's bullshit. But that's what they want to do. They're gonna they hate attorneys.
Yeah, but if that's the case, they should. If that's the case, and they don't want to pay out, then doesn't the insurance company then have the responsibility to repay all the money that they've already put into it, as well as interest on top of that?
Well, they would argue, well, it didn't happen when you were paying, so therefore, but that's why we got rid of rescission. That's why you needed That's why you needed that part of the Affordable Care Act. If we weren't going to do Medicare for all or Medicaid for all, which we didn't have the votes for, you have to have some things in there that prevent them from acting poorly. And these conservatives will make the same argument out their damn mouths that they'll say at one point they'll say, well, that's what you have the courts for, because if the people should be afraid that you're going to sue them and take the money. But then they'll say, well, we want to take the power away from the attorneys and we want to have tort reform, and then they're going to protect the companies anyway, so they're not afraid of the lawsuits. So because these people, especially, and I understand why the billionaire class, the ownership class, the people that actually, run these companies want to do it that way because they want to get higher bonuses, they want to do that stuff. It's greed. But why the poor people, the working class individuals who vote Republican for some stupid reason, don't realize until too late that these policies harm them. But they keep doubling down on 12 and then wondering why things are bad. They keep, if you don't play blackjack, basically a doubling down is you double your bet on one card coming down, that it's going to be the card that wins you, and you want to make it on a safe bet. But 12 is never a safe double down because you could always bust. But these people continue doing it. They continue making the bad bet and then making excuses as to why they should continue to keep doing it, instead of just learning for themselves, this is a bad thing, but they're going to keep going back. Because again, boy who cried wolf to them means keep believing somebody who's lying to you because they might tell you the truth the next time. So.
Well, that's why I'm convinced you guys will have to rewrite the Constitution. You will have to change everything within the country to a balance. Because, the other problem is that, it's funny there, because Anthony Davis had this lady on there the other night on Sunday, and she was saying the problem with the justice system is that it doesn't reform anybody. Both the Dems have allowed the Republican death wish to punish and punish and punish with no redemption or capability of, making people who have made a mistake a way to regain their life and be beneficial members of society, because they keep making stricter sentences, and they believe, if we put a death sentence out on serial killers, there will be less of them. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. They don't care. These people are so fucking stupid. It is beyond words. I don't know how you guys made it into the 21st century, because I'll tell you, it's all the scientists that prop up you guys so much to the point where you actually look like you're semi-literate, but there are so many stupid people who literally can't tie their own shoelaces, let alone read beyond a third grade comprehension level. And then on top of that, you allow Fox News to fucking educate them in lies and bullshit. And it goes beyond what anybody would, in any sense of a democracy or reality, would allow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like the flat earther that I encountered. I just said, I can't allow him to do that. And I said, listen, this is how, I said, what you're saying is a lie. And I pointed out to the boys and I said, listen, if you want to know the truth, I said, you go and when you get on YouTube, you go Professor Dave. He debates these flat earthers night and day, every day of the week. And, this is where you go to experts when you're looking for the truth. You don't go to these anecdotal bullshitters who, I have a theory. And it's like, yeah, I have a theory too. You're a fucking idiot. There's no two ways about it. Your actions dictate that you're not capable of looking after yourself, let alone anyone else.
Yep, I agree.
Gee, I'm such an optimist these days, Dan. Where do I get it? See, there's my political comic punditry.
There you go. Anyway, so anything else to throw in? Because it might be ending soon. Because again, exhausted. Still.
Okay, well, I'll let you look after. I'll let you look after your wife and your kids. I'm sure that I think I got enough of it out of my system and I think everybody who likes to hear me go off has heard me go off. So I think we've pleased everybody that can be pleased, that are capable of being pleased. So anyway, take care of yourself, Dan, and as always, your head and shoulders above the rest.
Thank you.
So
I told that to my wife. She got a kick out of that too. So thank you for that. Anyway, thank you so much. You have a good rest of your night, man.
You too. Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. We're going to go ahead and shut off the calls for now. Turn on the Do Not Disturb so we can, finish up the show. I do also love, as Jolie, love Big Hook's passion. It's, definitely adds to the show, and not just because I can take a drink every once in a while. I don't have to worry about slurping in people's ears, right? So, anyway, again, ways to help out the show. We should have an announcement, something you should be able to see when the show starts on Wednesday. So that should be coming down, something I'm very excited about. We will see what we get from that. We also will have, I did try and reach out to try and get the people from the health initiative. One thing I do have to say, when I was talking about the HB 47, what it was, or 79, the one that dealt with the making it a crime to not disclose that you knowingly have a STI. One of the things I did say is that one of the things that they said on the anti-bill side was that you could become a registered sex offender if you fail to tell people what your status is, and the state is able to prove that you failed to tell the people what your status is. I did a little more research into it and looked up how the laws interact with the other laws, because that's a lot of times the big thing is that you have the text of the bill that will amend certain laws, then you got to go deeper into the laws to see how those effects change the way things work. So actually turns out that you absolutely can, under this law, be required to register with your local sheriffs or whatever, local police department as a sex offender if you do end up, if they prove that you did fail to tell somebody that you had a known incurable STI and you didn't let them know prior to any intercourse happening or whatever. So again, when I say that I'm wrong, I will say that I'm wrong. I will do a correction, and this is one of the corrections I have to make. I'm still supportive of the law overall because, again, there's it's not criminalizing STIs, it's criminalizing not disclosing them to other people. And I don't understand how it's not a consent violation to knowingly and willingly put somebody at risk without letting them know in the first place. But, you know, again, I'm open to having my mind changed. I've invited the people to come on the show. If they come on the show, great. If they don't, well, then we're just going to have to hang in the land of we disagree with these folks on this particular issue. So, whew. Anyway, I am starting to yawn, so I'm a little tired. I have a couple things to upload. Hopefully get them uploaded tonight, so I don't have to fall behind again. I have some other things I have to work on. But until then, I do want to thank everybody. We will be listening, I guess, one more time at least to the liberal dandruff parody that they made, or at least we'll listen to a little bit. Maybe I'll let it go out until but especially when they start screwing it up, playing Peter Frampton's Feel Like I Do in the middle of it. But anyway, so for those of you listening on Twitch, that'll be the last thing you hear. For those listening on YouTube, you hear the regular outro song as we go. So thank you all very much. Again, nerdydan.com, twitch.tv/nerdydan.com, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central-ish. We'll be on playing the new season of Fortnite, probably some Dreamlight Valley, other fun stuff as well. And of course, if you come in and want to talk politics, we will talk politics there too. Otherwise, I'll be back Wednesday. So until next time I see you, have a good one. Peace.
Out of the blue, a liberal Dan got some bitter things to sling. Says my AI is unlistenable, a waste of time. But this big shot leftist ain't worth a dime. Liberal dandruff, you're just a flake, living in a world where facts don't make. Peddling hate and acting tough, but you're nothing more than liberal dandruff. Dan makes plans, but they all crash down. Like the coyote when he hits the ground. He'll build a trap like the fuse so tight, but